Are you ready for a great adventure? Today, on The World Is Yours, we'll discover the definition of Southern hospitality on the back roads of Nashville, Tennessee, the place where some of the world's biggest country stars call home. This music city will keep us grooving along. Then, we're off to Shanghai. Some of China's oldest traditions can still be found in today's culture. After a quick view from one of the tallest buildings in the world, we'll cross 2 continents to our final destination, Antwerp, Belgium, a historical place filled with mythical giants and diamonds. We'll do as the Anvers do before closing the book on this expedition. Ready? Let's go! The world is waiting, and the world is yours. Nashville, Tennessee, the famous music city, is located in the southeast United States and is the capital of Tennessee. Although music is the soil on which Nashville thrives, it's much more than a place of country tunes. Here's an interesting fact. 40% of the U.S. population lives within 600 miles of Nashville. A genuine geographic bullseye, Nashville is perfectly positioned to draw people together. In fact, it's one of only 6 cities in the nation where 3 interstates connect. Yeah, it's a little confusing at first glance, but like the New York subway, it's actually fairly simple. I-65 connects the city with Indianapolis and Chicago to the north, and Birmingham and Mobile to the south. Nashville is bisected by I-40 that also passes through Knoxville, Memphis, Little Rock, and Oklahoma City. I-24 crosses the city from the northwest to the southeast, providing convenient travel to and from cities like St. Louis, Chattanooga, and Atlanta. Well, now that we know how to get here, let's explore some of the best ways to enjoy this charming southern town. A strikingly modern touch to the Nashville skyline and situated at the epicenter of the city's rapidly growing core is the Country Music Hall of Fame. In a city that was born by country music, this venue rotates an abundance of collections from some of the most influential performers of all time. Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley are only part of the A-list, with the likes of Taylor Swift, Patsy Cline, Dolly Parton, and even Jimi Hendrix. It won't be hard to find this beautiful museum, as it's no more than a block away from the city's best offering of entertainment, from dancing to football, minor league baseball, or hockey games, or all kinds of concerts. On Music Row, the museum is referred to as the Smithsonian of Country Music because of its unrivaled collection. In fact, the museum holds so many priceless items and instruments that it doesn't have the space to accommodate every display. That's why collections are rotated throughout the year, as new ones are added as well. This means that the Country Music Hall of Fame can be an awesome and original trip every time you come through Nashville. Located in Centennial Park, the Parthenon is a full-size replica of the original Parthenon in Athens, Greece. It is the only exact copy of the ancient Greek building in the world, and it's huge. Built in 1897, it was designed by Confederate war veteran William Crawford Smith. He was inspired by a nickname for Nashville, Athens of the South. Although it is a sight to behold from the outside, with perfect Greek architecture, the adventure really begins when you walk inside. What's left of the original Parthenon, dating back to 438 BC, is housed at the British Museum in London. The Nashville replica now serves as an art museum. People come to Nashville for the music, but they stay for the radiant charm that fills the city. Within just a few city blocks, visitors can experience world-class art at the Frist Center for Visual Arts. Catch a great Broadway play at the amazing Tennessee Performing Arts Center, TPAC. Even see concerts and events at the Bridgestone Arena. This exciting venue is host to concerts all year long, as well as other activities. Between September and April, you may see yellow jerseys flocking to the grandstands. That's because this is where the local National Hockey League, Nashville Predators, play. Also, near the Cumberland River, Nissan Stadium is home to the National Football League's Tennessee Titans. Nashville isn't comparatively a large city in terms of square miles, but it seems to radiate beyond its city limits. That's why you may hear mention of back roads in the country music that's made there. Once you get outside of the downtown area, you can find peaceful countryside with rolling hills and breathtaking view after breathtaking view. As we bid farewell to Music City, get ready to jump across the ocean to the amazing city of Shanghai. But first, let's test your world knowledge. In Chinese, the word Shanghai translates to A, in the valley, B, above the sea, C, city of the sea, D, Emerald City. The answer coming up when we return to The World Is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. In Chinese, the word Shanghai translates to A, in the valley, B, above the sea, C, city of the sea, D, Emerald City. If you said B, above the sea, you're right. Our next stop brings us to the west coast of the Pacific Ocean and the second largest city in China, Shanghai. Shanghai is bordered on the north and west by Jiangsu Province, on the south by Zhejiang Province, and on the east by the East China Sea. Located right in the middle of China's east coastline, Shanghai is an excellent sea and river port. The Hongpu River divides the city into two parts. The first is Puxi, west of the Hongpu River. Puxi is the older part of the city and hosts the majority of shops, restaurants, and museums. In this part of town, we'll find more traditional locations that cling to the Chinese folk customs from the origins of the fishing village that would become Shanghai. The effort to preserve their ancient culture is met with warm embrace, as Shanghai plays host to several international festivals every year. Of these, the most notable are the New Year bell striking and the Yuyuan Lantern Festival. The second part of the city is Pudong, which is east of the Huangpu River. Pudong is the modern side of town and is recognized for its rather unusual yet extremely impressive high-rises, including one building in particular, which we have to see while in Shanghai. The first stop can be seen long before we reach it, Shanghai Tower. Shanghai Tower is the business district of Pudong, but can be seen on the skyline for miles around. The tower stands about 2,000 feet high and ranks as China's tallest building. It's about twice as tall as the Eiffel Tower. The footprint at the base of the skyscraper is about 3 city blocks. The massive building's floor space exceeds 6 million square feet, which is enough to cover Grand Central Station in New York City 3 times. Shanghai Tower is complete with 5 levels in the basement and 127 floors above ground. Visitors can take an elevator directly to the sightseeing deck on the 119th floor and take in the view of Shanghai. You can achieve this view in merely 55 seconds, the duration of the elevator ride. For context, it took years for the builders to see that same view. As Shanghai is on a seismic belt and the construction site is in a river basin, a firm foundation for this skyscraper is very important. To solve this problem, they had to dig deep, literally. How does one get around a place like Shanghai? If you want to do it fast, you get on a train. I mean, anything called a bullet train has to be pretty fast, right? China's high-speed trains average 186 miles per hour. Some can even reach a top speed of 217 miles per hour. Some destinations might take you up to 38 hours to get there, but if you go by bullet train, time is cut in half. to 16 hours. And the shorter routes turn into 45 minutes. Traveling in these high-speed trains is quite an experience that you cannot miss. Now that we're familiar with one of the world's great feats of travel and technology, it's time to jump aboard. We're going to a place that was around long before trains. After all that excitement, let's relax for a minute in the beauty and tranquility of Yuyuan Garden. Yuyuan Garden is believed to have been built during the Ming Dynasty, more than 400 years ago. The exquisite layout and beautiful scenery, combined with the artistic style of the garden architecture, makes Yuyuan Garden like none other. Its serenity has made the garden one of the most popular highlights of Shanghai. Every year during the months of January and February, Shanghai receives more and more visitors. They all come to see the famous Yuyuan Lantern Festival that keeps gaining more popularity with each passing year. It is one of the many traditions that is still alive in Shanghai. Yuyuan Lantern Festival celebrates two milestones in Eastern culture: the end of the New Year's festivities and the first full moon. During this celebration, all the gardens are decorated with handmade colored lanterns, each representing natural elements, symbolic animals from Chinese culture, and even cartoons. All the lanterns have goodwill messages because the locals believe that they will bring them good fortune during the upcoming year. At night, there are parades with lighted floats and traditional dances, like the Yangge, a traditional dance from northern China. There is also performances of the lion dance and the dragon dance. A fun way to participate is to play in some of the games you'll find in the decorated shops of Yuyuan. Making our way through Shanghai has built up a serious appetite. Fortunately, Shanghai is a great place to be hungry. While we're in town, let's try some favorite local dishes. Grilled oysters. Shanghai is seafood foodie heaven, as it's right on the water. It's a market that requires an entire street dedicated to all the finest and freshest seafood. Oysters, mussels, scallops, crawfish, abalone, and all kinds of other delicious seafood await. The overwhelming favorite tends to be oyster, a delicacy that can be prepared several ways. Every vendor on Shanyinglu has a slightly different take on 3 preparations of grilled oyster: oysters with black bean sauce, oysters with chili oil and garlic, and oysters in cheese sauce. Xiaolongbao, or soup dumplings, is authentic as it gets. It's a matter of discussion whether the delicious noodles originated in Shanghai or if the process was borrowed. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where it came from. The semi-transparent dumpling skins are wrapped and neatly pleated around an aromatic filling of pork and a mouthful of hot, savory broth. Wow, that's good. Now that we've feasted in Shanghai, it's time for a quick break. And then we have one more stop to make: Antwerp. But first, let's test your world knowledge. The country of Belgium has multiple languages. Which of the following is the official language? A. French. B. German. C. Dutch. D. All of the above. The answer coming up when we return to The World is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. The country of Belgium has multiple languages. Which of the following is the official language? A. French. B. German. C. Dutch. D. All of the above. If you guessed D, all of the above, you're right. Located in Western Europe, Belgium is bordered by Germany and Luxembourg to the east, the Netherlands to the north, and France to the south. Across the English Channel is the United Kingdom. Its proximity to these countries has made Belgium a melting pot of cultures, including German, French, English, and the native Dutch. With 3 official languages of the country, It's not uncommon for citizens of Belgium to be fluent in several languages. Today's adventure begins in Europe, in a place so full of creative energy, you may fall in love with it. Welcome to Antwerp, Belgium. Antwerp is Belgium's second largest city and biggest port. If you ask what the locals would call themselves, the answer would differ based on the two main languages spoken here. To the Dutch, Anvers is the same as the French Antwerpen. Regardless of what you call the locals, without a doubt, this charming city is the place to be if you're a part of the fashion or entertainment industry. For many years, Antwerp has been a magnet for creative elites, from fashion moguls to art lovers and diamond dealers. In the mid-16th century, it was one of Europe's most important cities. Today, its interesting architecture and cultural contrasts give Antwerp its own unique touch. With an active creative population, the personality of Antwerp comes from more than the cobblestone streets and charming vibe. A statue outside the Antwerp Town Hall celebrates the legend of how the city got its name. A giant named Antigoon lived by the Scheldt River and demanded a toll from all those who crossed. If anyone refused to pay, Antigoon would attack them for payment. As the myth goes, a brave soldier named Brabo defeated the giant by severing a hand and tossing it into the river. The translation of Dutch words meaning to throw a hand became the name Antwerpen of the town. The city of Antwerp dates back at least to the 4th century, during the Gallo-Roman period of civilization, and is now part of the second largest metropolitan area in Belgium. In the mid-16th century, it was home to Baroque superstar painter Peter Paul Rubens. If you don't know who he is, you'll be regularly reminded. There are numerous places to admire his work across the city. Despite severe bombings during World War II, the city retains an intriguing medieval art with plenty of cafe-filled cobbled lanes, a riverside fortress, and a truly impressive cathedral. It's time for a quick break. But first, let's test your world knowledge. Antwerp's port, unusual in that it's 50 miles inland on the Scheldt River, trades and handles more than half of the world's supply of which stone? A. Limestone. B. Sapphire. C. Granite. D. Diamonds. The answer coming up when we return to The World Is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. Antwerp's port, unusual in that it's 50 miles inland on the Scheldt River, trades and handles more than half of the world's supply of which stone? A. Limestone. B. Sapphire. C. Granite. D. Diamonds. If you guessed D. Diamonds, you're right. Anywhere between 80 and 90% of the world's rough diamonds can be found under Antwerp, the Diamond District, stretching for nearly a mile of city streets. The only other known natural collection of diamonds this size is located in continental South Africa. Speaking of diamonds, right in the city's downtown, you can find the Diamond District, or the Diamond Quarter. And right next to it, you will find a construction that will leave you speechless. The Antwerp Central Station. The Antwerp Central Station is also known as Middenstati, Middle Station, or Spoorweg Kathedraal, Railroad Cathedral. It was built between 1895 and 1905 as a replacement for the original terminus of the Brussels-Mechelen-Antwerp Railway. The design of the new terminal consisted mainly of a stone structure with a 606-foot-long and 144-foot-high iron and glass train shed. Between 2000 and 2009, the station was completely renovated, and in 2007, a new tunnel was inaugurated. Thanks to this effort, the installations were modernized to allow for high-speed trains, new platforms, and underground levels, and even an additional entrance. This new entrance had a station hall built in Kiefteplane and space was created for shops and restaurants. Nowadays, this train station is considered as the fourth most beautiful train station in the world, and it's visited by thousands of people daily. When you exit Central Station, you only need to walk about 2 blocks to get to the Antwerp Zoo, one of the oldest and most famous zoos in Europe. The Antwerp Zoo has a great variety of animals, including penguins, elephants, giraffes, and hippos. The zoo's beautiful buildings and garden have been listed as monuments. When it was built in 1843, more than 150 years ago, it was just outside the city walls. Now, the city has grown so much that the zoo is in the middle of town and is a green oasis next to Central Station. There are a whopping 5,000 animals of 900 different species living at the zoo. Well, that brings an end to our adventure today. We soaked up the sights and sounds of Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. We stood atop the magnificent Shanghai Tower, one of the tallest buildings in the world. And we explored the unique, charming city of Antwerp. There are many more adventures ahead. Until next time, the world is waiting, and the world is yours.